This time it's guns for Christmas.
This is Hunting Humbug 101, a crash course in shooting down bad arguments.
Welcome to Hunting Humbug 101. Tonight's episode or tutorial is about false analogies. There are some analogies people make that are just so obviously flawed, but nevertheless some people might find them convincing. And I think the counterexample is one of the best tricks to use. So one of the ones I put on the blog, which I'll insert the audio here, is the argument from Banana, which is an argument a creationist came up with, and he made the analogy he called it the Atheist nightmare, because bananas were obviously made by God for humans to eat, because they're exactly like a can of soda. So I'll quickly play that audio now, and then we'll come back and discuss analogies further.
Okay.
Nightmare. Now, if you study a well-made banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 ridges. On the close side, 2 ridges. If you get your hand ready to grip a banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 grooves, on the close side 2 grooves. The banana and the hand are perfectly made one for the other. You'll find the maker of the banana, Almighty God, has made it with a non-slip surface. It has outward indicators of inward contents: green, too early; yellow, just right; black, too late. Now, if you go to the top of the banana, you'll find, as with the soda can makers, they placed a tab at the top. So God has placed a tab at the top. When you pull the tab, the contents don't squirt in your face. You'll find the wrapper, which is biodegradable, has perforations. Notice how gracefully it sits over the human hand. Notice it has a point at the top for ease of entry. It's just the right shape for the human mouth. It's chewy, easy to digest, and it's even curved toward the face to make the whole process so much easier. Seriously, Kurt, the whole of creation testifies God's creative hand.
So the argument from Banana, I mean, that the thing I pointed out in the post is it's so easy to turn that against him. So, for example, why didn't God make coconuts with screw-top lids? So you pick out, and so example of stacking the deck as well. You're just picking out this one example, and of course, bananas were actually cultivated by humans over the last 10,000 years. So it falls down flat on basic facts as well.
In our example, we talk a clear-cut distinction between illustrative and compelling, but most analogies are somewhere between those 2 extremes. So don't get hung up with whether it is a false analogy or not, because often it's the case that to rely too much upon it is a weak argument.
That's right.
But that it might be nevertheless fairly compelling in its own way. So rather than saying it is or it isn't, very often you just say it's weak or it's strong or it's it illustrates something, and that's the basis for discussion. So, but neither person should assert that the analogy itself is compelling, that is, that it proves that case. But they're useful for moving an argument forward, for getting
a
clear...
kind of a communication tool.
Yeah, it's a tool of communication, and also I think analogy enriches the language. So we shouldn't be too critical of the use of analogy, provided if it's illustrative, it's only used as illustration rather than a compelling proof of something.
Yeah, when it's the basis of an argument, then you're in trouble. But when it's used to try and convey what you mean to somebody in a clearer way, then it's usually quite useful, as long as it's it is actually apt, of course. So. You've been listening to Hunting Humbug 101, a crash course in shooting down bad arguments. Head to the website www.skepticsfieldguide.net for episode info and download your free copy of the ebook Humbug the Skeptics Field Guide to Spotting Fallacies and Thinking. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast via iTunes or another RSS feed.